Hello, everybody. I hope all of you are having a good day today. When Jesus opened up the minds of his disciples to the scriptures that's spoken about here was the Torah, the first 5 books of the Old Testament. In order to understand the Holy Scriptures, one had to be led by the Spirit. A religious man could not see the truth of the Torah. All he could see was religion. When Moses came down from the mountain that he had climbed with the God-breathed scriptures, the Torah, his face was shining. The light of the truth was beaming from him. The truth will set you free. Remember, Jesus said he is the light of the world. The God-breathed scriptures that Moses had the truth of Christ within them. You remember the movie A Few Good Men, and Jack Nicholson told Tom Cruise, "You can't handle the truth." Well, they couldn't handle the truth either. They were afraid of the truth, so Moses put a veil on. The veil symbolizes the truth and the light in the Torah being hidden, covered from them. They couldn't see it. They didn't have a spiritual mind. Throughout the Torah, the truth is in there. And the truth is that the kingdom of heaven is within you. That's what the temple of God shows you. It's an illustration of Jacob whenever he laid his head on a stone and he had a dream of the stairway to heaven. Check out these next few illustrations. It's pretty cool. Did y'all ever read that about Moses raising up a serpent on a pole in the Old and New Testament, and kind of ask yourself, what's going on here? This kind of doesn't sound right. Well, when you understand the truth, when you see the truth, then it makes sense. You remember when Aaron put down his staff and it turned into a serpent, and it swallowed up the serpents of the magicians of Pharaoh? Remember, Jacob named the place Bethel, but before he named it Bethel, it was called Luz. And Luz means bone of the back and almond tree. Remember when Aaron's name was etched on the staff of Levi? It budded and produced almonds. It was from an almond tree. So when you see the single snake climbing up the pole or the staff, that represents Christ within. Now when you see the double snake climbing the staff, imagine the staff as Christ within, wrapped in human DNA. Remember, we struggle with our flesh and the spirit. The human backbone has 33 vertebrae. Jesus was 33 years old when he ascended into heaven. You all know the story of Jacob wrestling with God and man. Jacob wasn't physically wrestling with God and with man. He was wrestling with the Spirit of God, the divinity within himself. Jacob called the place where he wrestled with God and man Peniel. And he said, "For I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved." See, Peniel means the face of God. And that word for preserved in Hebrew means snatched away or raptured. Jacob had discovered the kingdom of heaven within himself. You remember when Jesus healed the blind man, and the blind man said, "I see people, they look like trees walking around." You remember Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus climbed a tree. He climbed that stairway to heaven to see Jesus. All of these stories are symbolic. They have a spiritual meaning, a hidden spiritual meaning. And it's all showing you that the kingdom of heaven is within you. Remember, Jesus was crucified and buried at Golgotha, the place of the skull. The skull is your skull. Golgotha was also a garden. Christ is planted within you. Remember the two snakes with the staff in the middle? The staff is an almond tree. Whenever Christ sprouts forth through Golgotha, that tree bursts through. You become a tree in the Garden of Eden. You see, the truth about Christ Jesus was all throughout the Torah, the first 5 books of the Old Testament. But you see, the people couldn't see it. It was veiled. It was hidden from them. And so they turned it into a religion. And the same can be said about the Christian church today. The truth of Christ has been veiled to them, and it's been turned into a religion. You see, whenever you stop wrestling with God and man, meaning wrestling with your carnal mind, trying to think that there's something that you can do to please God, whenever you stop wrestling with God and realize to let God be God in you, that's when you'll spiritually see God face to face, and your life will be spared, snatched away. You will ascend into the kingdom of heaven. You see, whenever Christ rises up in you, whenever that tree sprouts up through you, then Christ will handle all the works in you that need to be done. He'll clean out that temple. Remember when Jesus got angry with the money changers in the temple and he threw everything out? That's what Christ will do with you. He'll throw everything out that doesn't need to be there. That's why you can never boast of your own works, because it's Christ doing all the works for you. The word revelation in Greek is apocalypsis or apocalypse, and it means uncovering something that's been hidden, removing the veil. Remember, the truth was covered. Moses put on a veil. I pray this upload has enlightened you. I pray the veil has been removed. I love you all. God bless. When the bridegroom lifts the veil, the bride and groom see each other face to face. And the groom kisses the bride. They merge and become one.